Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann, your host, where I am trying to help you lay a firm foundation here at Fitness, Food, and Finance Podcast, or it used to be called CrossFit Garage. It is for you guys at CrossFit Garage or Garage Fitness Online, or anywhere in the world. People are downloading from Australia. Hello, mate. I don't know how you found us, but glad to have you. Okay, so the question for today that we're going to go over is, I do a bit on the Survival Podcast. Every Thursday, they have an expert council Q&A session. Jack Spirko runs that, and when somebody sends a question, he'll send it back out to us, and then we answer it using audio, and then he sends it out during his podcast on Thursday. So anyway, I'm taking this guy's question, Zeb. So Zeb, hopefully you came over and you're listening to this, and get the full entertaining answer to your question. Yeah, you already got the short answer, but this will be a whole lot more interesting and entertaining because I have more than 7 minutes. So, using a stand-up desk, should I and how should I adjust so that I'm not getting lower back pain or feet swelling or any of those things? So, that's what we're going to talk about. We got a couple of the things I'm going to throw in there first. So, guys, if you're at the gym, there's a couple new things that you have hopefully already seen. So, one, the CrossFit Open is coming up. We're doing the Intramural Open. Some of you guys have jumped in to be part of the team. We're going to draft the rest of you in so you won't have a choice, but that way your participation will count for towards team points. As always, we have the intended stimulus on the workout. That is what the programmer is trying to get you to do. So RX isn't necessarily the important part. That's the guideline to what you're trying to get. The intended stimulus is what you're trying to go for. So if it says, hey, you're trying to do 4 to 6 rounds, you should adjust accordingly. That's why we have RX and intermediate. Do something in between or do something less. It doesn't matter. The idea is intensity is the normal stimulus for CrossFit. So it's usually an 8 to 12 minute workout, and it's a couplet or a triplet. And so that's what we're aiming you guys at. You probably noticed also at the end of the workout, we now have at-home options. So if you can't come in, you can do this at home. Typically, you just need a dumbbell. So if you are not part of the gym and you're thinking, hey, I want a program to watch or to follow along with, yeah, use us. If you go to CrossFitGarage.com and then click on gym information and then scroll down right there to WOD, workout of the day, you will see, actually go ahead and open that for you guys. You will see our workout of the day, and it posts everything with videos. Members, you can use this if you're wondering, hey, what is the workout? It's there. I think it's only posted to the date. So you can follow along right there. If you scroll to the very bottom, it says at home, 5 rounds, da-da-da. So typically some sort of dumbbell setup, and you can do everything at home. So that is in there for you guys. So Evie just walked by. She's on her way to school, and it reminded me of a story I'm going to throw in real quick. So I've got 4 children. They are similar to me in that they love technology, and sometimes like getting their hands dirty, depends on what they're doing. Not many of them, the older 3, haven't really ever said, yes, Dad, help me to learn to change my oil. So Evie came in and she said, hey, Dad, my engine light's on and it looks like it needs a minor service. What's that? I'm like, well, let's Google it real quick. So I knew what it was, but I'm just trying to teach her. She's like, oh, it's an oil change and change out the filters. I'm like, yeah. She's like, can we do that at home? I'm like, yes, we can do that at home. So I went out and bought the parts and pieces. And then she came home, and it was kind of funny. She's like, hey, all right, I just got home. Let's go change the oil. And then I got to go back to school because I want to go to the basketball game and meet my friends to eat. And I said, yeah, we can do that. Let's go ahead and pop the hood of your car. So I did a little videoing, and it didn't go as expected. So I put up a little clip of it because it was funny. But so she figures out how to pop the hood. And she's like, wow, that's hot. I'm like, yeah, lick your finger and then touch the engine block. She's like, that sounds really dumb. I'm like, it is. So I said, if the engine is hot, what's going to be hot? She's like, the oil. I'm like, yes. I said, do you know why they use oil and not water? And so we went through all that. I said, so the oil is really, really hot. She's like, okay, I'm guessing you're telling me this because in changing the oil, we're probably going to touch the oil. I'm like, yes, because we're newbies, you'll definitely get your hand oily. She said, well, that's going to hurt. I'm like, it is. So the first lesson of changing your oil is don't change your oil. The second lesson here that is actually follows into this is she would like to do a thing like a stand-up desk. She has one. She didn't do any research, right? Or maybe you did, Zeb, and you're like, hey, now what would I do? So this is the things that I would do. So we ended up changing the oil the other day before the Super Bowl, and it went really good. I haven't changed my own oil since I was probably in college, and I forgot how tough it is to get your face under there without jacking the car up, and I didn't want to use a jack, so we just had to climb under there. She's tiny, so she was easy to get in there, and then, to contort your arm in that weird way to grab hold of the filter, weirdly, it was a whole lot easier to get the filter off of a Honda Pilot from 2018 than it was a Datsun 210 back in it was a 1973 Datsun 210, which should have been easy, but that thing was contortion making. Anyway, okay, so the idea here is, I work from home, or hey, maybe you're at work, and they give you the opportunity to have a stand-up desk. If you go immediately to just standing 8 hours a day, you're going to mess yourself up for sure. If you're not used to it, there's probably three things that are going to happen. One thing is you're going to have a lot of lower back pain. You can sort of mitigate this by adjusting your posture, but that means now you need to know what is good posture. Basically, pull your shoulders back, take the back of your head, pull it back a little bit, so you're standing nice and tall. One thing you can do there is simply have good pressure and breathe. And this would also be sort of therapeutic if you would stand up tall, breathe in deep a few times, and breathe out. It'll help you. It's not like the wooey, but it is. It helps recenter you. It is very good for you. Another one is you can have leg fatigue and swelling because, you're standing up. And what does gravity want to do? Take everything down. And, of course, your body should pump and move. But here's the thing that most people don't know. Your heart does not pump blood through your entire body just by going lub-dub. That's not exactly how it works. Yes, it is a major factor, but as you move and things constrict, you are squeezing your veins and your arteries and the capillaries, and that's helping. So if you ever notice, you can take your hand and run it along your arm. So I have very vascular arms because I guess I'm low body weight at the moment. And if there's a vein right here on my bicep. If I take it and run my finger along it, it flattens out because I've pushed all the blood through. If I go the other direction, it fills up like a backed up hose. Why? Because there's one-way valves in that dang thing. It knows what it wants to do. It does not want blood going the other way. So once blood makes it through the one-way door, the valve, the flap, right? It can't go back. So everything you do moves blood around your body. If you're stationary, if you're sitting, if you're standing, it doesn't move as well. You should be moving. We're going to get into that in a second. The other thing you're going to find is foot pain and joint stress. So I am a huge fan of bare feet. As a matter of fact, right now, I am barefoot. That's me putting my foot into the camera. So this is an audio podcast, and this is also a video podcast. Levi said, hey, Dad, if you're going to do one, you might as well do them both. So I tried to explain everything I'm doing. Anyway, I'm a barefoot guy. I'll go barefoot as much as possible, but maybe not as much as Tim Nickerson or Simon Nickerson, but I do go barefoot a lot. I think it's great. I think instead of saying, ooh, hard surfaces and poor footwear, that's the problem. No, the problem is you're a wuss. Your foot's not used to doing what a foot does, which is move you around using the sole of your foot. It's a rougher, more textured, calloused surface. That's what it's for, unless you baby it, and then it's not. So I'm going to go over also some items that I use for my feet, some glove-like socks, and then some heel cups and some other stuff. But these are the things we're going to be talking about, is how to get rid of that pain, and maybe what else could I do? So I'm going to put this in my website. So if you go to CrossFitGarage.com/TSPC, The Survival Podcast, I'm putting everything that they're asking me for in there. Well, I just started to, so it's building up. And you'll see this. It'll probably say exercises at your desk or something like that. So you'll see this pop up there. So you can go there. Right now, it's got a lot of information. Let's see, what else do I have on there? You can do a carnivore Kickstarter. So you can still buy one-on-one. So you can't buy the online version. This is going to be a one-on-one. But you can go to these guys. It's Smart and Simple, and hire them to help you with carnivore. I think it's a great thing. You should do it. There's 60 easy in 2025. So instead of doing 75 hard, do 60 easy. The 32 at-home workouts. So I have a gym at my house, or I have some gear whenever I want to work out at home, or I have no gear. This one is a no gear thing. There's information on our 24/7 access. So I know if you don't live around here, it doesn't really matter. But I direct a lot of our people to that. So if you're in the Woodstock area and you're looking for a CrossFit gym that has 24/7 access, that's us. GarageFitness.online, that is our new service. If you have a bit more of a gym, more than just dumbbells, then you can use this. Right now it's free. It'll probably be free for all of 2025 because we're still building it out and we're testing it on you. So it's free. Of course, you have our podcast, Food, Fitness, Finance. You're probably watching it now or listening to it now. And then there's the at-home test. Am I fit enough, right? I'm putting other things, how to regain your mobility, and this one right here, things you could do at your desk for exercise. So you'll find all that there. This is the survival podcast right here that I'm showing you, and this is the expert council I'm on. This guy, it's not about zombies. It's actually never about zombies. It's about how to build a good life now if times are tough, or even if they're not. And he helps you make a garden. He helps you understand debt. I mean, the guy is phenomenal. He's got so much information in his head, and the community is great. So if you're looking for home gardening, chickens, shotguns, Bitcoin, I mean, you name it. There's so many things that basically it's homesteading. It's how to build a better life. Listen to this podcast. It's The Survival Podcast with Jack Spirko. Okay, so also you guys know you can find me at my YouTube channel is at AndyMcCann42. There's always these videos right here, or I do other videos like I just did one of me and Evie changing the oil, and I do a lot of chickens and stuff. Or this podcast is Food, Fitness, and Finance. You can find it on any of the podcast socials. Okay, I am going to pop into some of the things about a stand-up desk that you can get, but I'm going to leave the picture right here for a while. This is a stand-up desk that several of my buddies use, and it has lasted, and that's what I'm going for. A desk should do one thing really, really well: hold your junk. So you put stuff on it, and it holds it. The second thing it should do really, really well, since this is a stand-up desk, is allow you to go up and down whenever you want, and that's what this desk does really well. I have never heard them complain, and they've had this desk for a very long time. There's also like 5,000 ratings on this, and I think it's 4.5 stars. So it's on Amazon. It's $200. It's easy to put together. Okay, so stand-up desk. What would I do? I think this is brilliant. I really wish they would have had this as I was progressing through the work world. I guess I could do that right now. I have my own desk, but I'm not sitting at this desk 8 hours a day. I sit at this desk. Well, I take that back. For work, I only sit here for maybe an hour, but I do come back to the desk a lot to do other work that's, me creating work to move things along. I guess it is still work in business, but anyway, I don't sit here for 8 hours a day. So what I would do is alternate. If you just got the desk, do 30 minutes of standing, 30 minutes of sitting, and just rotate back and forth. Eventually, I would do more standing. That is going to be better for you. So maybe skew it to 45 minutes of standing with 15 minutes of sitting. But build yourself into it. I would also go barefoot. That's me. So you could have a footrest or something like an anti-fatigue mat, but I really don't like helping yourself cope with being a wuss. I would say instead, go barefoot, stand on a solid surface, and build your body into it, okay? So the other thing you could do is, my wife uses one of these. It's a DeskCycle kind of peddler. So you put your feet on it and you just go back and forth. So the reason for it is, if you're sitting and not doing anything and you really find yourself just like focused, at least this gives you a repetitive task and you're moving some. Does it count for calories and all that? Yeah, I guess a little bit. But really the idea is, I'm just not stationary. If your body is the ultimate adaptation machine. And if you are primary stationary, then it's going to adapt to you doing nothing. So instead of doing nothing, do something. So keep yourself moving, even if it's just a little bit of movement. Let your body adapt to the good things. So this is a good one. I'll put a link in the show notes. But any peddler will do. This is, like I said, one. I think Verity uses this one, and or at least it looks exactly like it. Maybe it's a different brand name. And it's got 2,000 ratings, and it's still a 4.6 on the Amazon scale. So that's a pretty good one. So do something. Okay, other thing I'm going to add in there, I got some exercises I'm going to talk to you about, but these are some things on Amazon that I use for some of the issues I had. As I went barefoot, I had a plantar fascia started tightening up a bit, so in the morning I would have that pain. And what I did to get out of it was, one of my buddies said, hey, I use these heel seats. So go on Amazon, buy these heel seats, throw it in the back of your shoe. It's really easy. Basically, it's a little cup that goes in the back of your shoe, but the magic is, right in front of your heel, there's a bump in the plastic, so about maybe a number 2 pencil size of bump. And what it's doing is pushing into that plantar's tendon, so that it's elongating it over time. Again, adaptation. It says, hey, there's something pushing me right here. What should I be doing? I should be stretching out. So it's a forced stretch. So it's a heel cup. What do they call it? Heel seats by Heal That Pain Foot Orthotic Insert. So it's blue and small. Anyway, get that guy. The other thing I like to use is these 5-fingered toe socks. So it's like a glove, but it's for your toes, and you put individual toes in there. So if I'm wearing shoes, I'll try to get these socks. And when I'm wearing shoes, it'll always have these heel cups in it. And my wife uses this. I don't. I probably should. I don't even have a stand-up desk, but I move a lot, so I don't really think it's a problem for me. I'm not sitting at the desk all day. All right, so there are some exercises I would do. I think the other thing that I would throw at you is this. It came up in conversation at our Georgia Tech guys retreat. So there was 5 of us went out to a cabin, had some fun, and talked a lot of crap. And this came up, hey, sitting all day. Of course, they know what I do for a living. So they're like, hey, what would you recommend? What would you do if you didn't want to, or if you wanted to add movement into your day? So yes, stand-up desk. And yes, this stuff at the office or in your home office. Okay, so here's the exercises. And what I plan on doing is coming back and making a very short video and putting it on YouTube and linking it here so you could see what I mean. To me, these are very self-explanatory, but my brother always brings up, this is what you do. People don't know what you're saying because you do it and you don't say enough words. I'm like, all right, perfect, I'll do that. So the door jamb squat, what you're gonna do is get inside your door jamb, between where the door would be. You're gonna hold on to the molding of the door jamb. So it doesn't have to be a door jamb. It could be the metal bit on the rig, right? It could be anything that's just solid and gives you something to hold on to. And what you're gonna do is squat, hips below the tops of your knees. So the crease of your hip goes below the top of your knee. So yes, it's super deep. And then stand all the way up. And you're using the door jamb to keep you from falling over, to give you the stability to go down all that way. So it's a deep squat. You can do, just do them for 30 seconds or 60 seconds. It doesn't matter how many you do, you're doing something. Once you get used to it, yeah, then you can time yourself or you can count reps or whatever. The next one is a low squat. So you do that exact same thing if you can. Most people can't do this yet. So drop down into a squat, go a little bit lower, take your elbows, drive them into your knees, and hang out there for 30 to 60 seconds. It doesn't take long, but it's a thing. It'll help with so many things. Help with mobility. It'll help with your back. It'll help with just your balance and coordination. Yeah, it's crazy. If you're 50 and you haven't squatted in a while, try it. You're probably going to fall over. Be careful. All right, my favorite is the dumbbell thruster. Doesn't matter what the size of the dumbbell is, it's an external load. It's more than just your hand. So get something. It could be 2 water jugs. I don't really care. So you hold those up at your shoulders. You drop back down to the deep squat. Yep, you notice a theme here. And then you stand up and drive your arms into the air. That is a thruster. Basically, you're thrusting the weight into the air. You're using your hips and your quads and your back to generate the bigger momentum, and then you drive with your arms. Of course, if it's lighter, don't stand up super quick. You'll probably dislocate your elbow as you jump through the air, right? So you want a heavier item is better to give you enough feedback to feel the, ooh, that wasn't as easy to stand up as I thought it would be. Perfect, that's the right weight. What weight is that for you? I don't know. 75 pounds is pretty good for me. I like that if it's a barbell. If it's dumbbells, then man, really anything will do. Usually two 30-pound dumbbells is what I would use. The next is burpees. So burpees, you're standing tall, you drop down to the floor, touch your chest to the ground, and then stand back up tall. How do you do that? Well, there's a lot of ways to get there. And it doesn't actually have to be a burpee like that. So you could drop down slowly, lay all the way down, then stand up. Sure, that's a burpee. Or you could do it fast, where you literally drop, catch yourself in a push-up position, lower yourself, pop back out of that push-up position, and then stand up quickly. You could do it that way. You could also make it an up-down, which is just doing half of it. So you go to a plank position and then stand back up. Another easy one is calf raises. You don't need anything, but if you had a 2x4, you put your toes on that and then you raise up. So that would be the way to do it. I wouldn't do too many of these as they're easy to do and you may overdo it. Keep the number low until your body is like, oh yeah, calf raises. Because you do a lot of these, you're gonna seize up your calf and you won't see it coming. Step ups. If you're next to, like I am, I have it upstairs that I don't use, but it's right there. So I could do some steps. Just go to the stairs and do some steps. I would probably do 2 steps at a time so I have that proper height, or just go get some wood, create a box, or find a box or a chair. What you really want in these step ups is you want your knee and your hip crease to be parallel. Now, depending on your flexibility, if you want to, if you're flexible and you want to go a little bit harder, then you want your knee above the crease in your knee. If you're not as flexible yet, you want your knee to be below the crease of your knee, so it's a little bit easier to move. But any of that's gonna help, a higher step, right? So step ups. Then you've got a lunge or side lunge. So it's, I guess, a Cossack squat. So I like the Samson lunge. So you have a large step. You drive your hips into your front heel, and you take your hands, clasp them, put them up and over your head, and stretch back. So that's a Samson stretch, but any lunge will do, or a Cossack squat, which is a side lunge. You also have torso twists and arm circles. Something extra, if you're thinking, hey, I'm sitting a lot and I'd really like to combat that, especially the lower back pain, do the sit and reach. Here's the trick on that one. When you do the sit and you reach to your toes, don't bounce. Just find where you can go and hold on. You can get a rope or a band or some socks or whatever, put it around your feet, and then pull so you can get a little bit closer. You want to hold that for more than 2 minutes. That's where things start to elongate. If you can go for 3, great. The last one is foam rolling. So I've got a foam rolling technique. Actually, I use a PVC pipe from Home Depot because it hurts more and it's cheaper. And I do this routine. Actually, let me see if I can grab it. Yeah, here it is. So I'll put a link in the show notes as well. And it's just me showing you what to do. In general, what I'm doing on the foam roller is this. I'm rolling the right and left side of my lower back. I'm rolling the right and left side of my glute, my butt. And then I'm rolling my quad, and I'm rotating as I roll my quad so that I get each number on the clock, right? So I don't know, imagine I roll at the 12, then I rotate to the 1 and roll, and then rotate to the 2 and roll, so that there's a different part of my leg on that pipe or the roller. And when you get to your IT band, it hurts a lot. So be careful when you get there. That's about the 45 degree. If you're wearing blue jeans, it's about where the seam on the blue jeans would be. That's your IT band. And yes, it is going to hurt. So I'll put the exercises in the show notes. I'm also going to have it added to the that page I said, CrossFitGarage.com/TSPC. That's where I'm putting all my free material that I'm creating. And usually because it comes from this podcast. So Zeb, if you're out there listening to this still, I assume your name is actually Zebulon, which way back in the day, we were sitting at the dinner table and we had these cards. We'd have kids memorize stuff. So I know that it's Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Asher, Zebulun, Naphtali, Dan, Gad, Joseph, Benjamin. So I know all your historical brothers. Anyway, other fun stuff that I did with the kids. I think I might have mentioned this a little bit, but at the beginning, I did change the oil in the car with Evie. Guys, if you've got kids and you don't take the time to do this, then you're missing out. They're only going to be here for a while, and you have to teach them these skills because who else is going to? So if your kid says, yes, help me, and you don't know how to, watch YouTube. It's not that hard. Everything, literally like 1,000 videos on how to change the oil in a Honda Pilot 2018. Super easy. You probably did it as a kid, you just don't remember. If you don't know how, or you're all by yourself and you need help, guys, if you're at the gym and you need something like that, I'm happy to help your kid learn to change oil. Just let me know. I can be spontaneous if you let me plan it. That's the hardest thing, with a teenager is you can plan things and they just simply don't show up. All right, other fun stuff that is popping up. Let me pull this up. All right, in addition to the Open, another one popping up here is Jamie Thomas is in a play. Several of us are going to the, I think it's Saturday. Is it Saturday the 15th? Where's my calendar? Come on, calendar. Come on up here. Boop. Yeah, Saturday the 15th, there's a showing, and several of us are going to that. Join us. I have to find out where the tickets are. Let me see if it's right here in this See More. I feel like it should have been Alfreda Center of the Arts. That's probably it. Let me poke in there and see if I can find you where tickets are. Okay, don't call me a rookie on the internet. That took way longer than it should have. So yeah, here are the tickets. There's the 14th, 15th, and 16th are the showings still. And I will put a link in the show notes so you can find this play. Okay, also, we've got a couple people doing various events. There's High Rocks, there's DecaFit, and there's the Spartan races. So if you're interested in those things, let me know. I'll connect you with all the people. Evie and I are doing some adventure races. We're doing this Oak Mountain, and then which is March 22nd out in Alabama, and then the Blue Ridge Adventure Race, which is May 3rd, of course, in Blue Ridge. And there's a couple other races coming up. So if you're interested in this stuff, let me know. Also, hey guys, if you're in the gym, or maybe even if it's a garage.fitness online or garagefitness.online, let me know what you're into. I will help connect you with people that are doing similar. One of my things is to build connection in the groups that we're with. So we've got a bunch of us that are doing some board games in D&D together. So we'll be meeting again this coming Sunday, which is the 16th. So if you're into that and you'd like to try it out, let me know. Usually, there's about 12 of us on the list, and usually about 5 of us show up. So it's a small group, but that actually works out better because games are done better in smaller numbers. If we had 12 people show up, we would just split into 2 that night and do 2 different things. So not a big deal. All right, guys. I love that the opportunity for health and fitness is everywhere, even with stand-up desks. Even just going somewhere, out into the woods and walking. Guys, you can do this. It is simple. It's just not easy. So the task is simple. Get out and walk. Get out and do a thing. Live your better life. As you get older, it gets harder and harder. Start sooner. If you're younger, great. If you're in your 50s, I still feel young on that. You can still start. If you're like 75, man, yeah, the benefits of what we're doing here are very much mitigated, but it's still possible. So if you need help finding a gym, if you're not here in Woodstock and you can't come to us, let me know. I'd help you find a gym. I want people to be healthy and fit. So if you need me, you can find me, Andy, at CrossFitGarage.com. If you want to listen on YouTube, it is at Andy McCann 42. The podcast is Fitness, Food, and Finance. Y'all take care.